the last episode. I'm happy to be doing it with you ladies. Period. Cheers!
Cheers!
Woo! Well, I'm Shalae. Third time's the charm. It's my third episode here. We're trucking through.
I'm Courtney. As you all, this is only my second time here. I might not know. So I'm Courtney.
Okay, today we're talking internal and external pressures and what that looks like, especially coming out of college. So I feel like prior to us turning the camera on, we talked a lot about like stuff that we have going on in our lives, and as far as like moving on after graduation, decipher through all the internal stuff so that you can get to where you want to go. So let's start with internal pressures first. Coming out of college, I think you're your biggest critic, because you're like, I should be here.
Yeah.
And that is like the beginning of your downfall, I believe.
Maybe for me, because I don't really have any like pressure and shit from like my family or anything like that. You know, it was just really just like I had a 10-year plan for my life, and I say had because they just, you know, this post-grad year has really just been, you cussing your channel?
Yeah.
Okay, has been whooping my ass.
This is your second episode. You've been cursing on the first one.
I didn't really remember cussing on the first one. So I want to say, look, I just feel like I had a lot of my pressure I put on myself, like just how my 10-year plan was supposed to be. Like I was supposed to graduate from college with like a job at a really, not just a job in my field, but like a job at a notable company, like one of the top 10, you know, companies that I consider, you know, relevant. And then, you know, from there was like to move, like to not have to come back home, to like get the hell up out of Georgia, to just like make a whole 380, like, you know, blah blah blah. I was supposed to be in Georgia for like, you know, maybe a month after I graduated. And I think that even after like I had like, you know, interviews and things like that, but they just didn't pan through, I was just like, okay, well, you pivot. So I just you know, kept saying, okay, well, I should have a job by August, and then August turned into September, it's turned into October, and then so on and so on and so on and so forth. So I think that a lot of the pressure that you do have is kept from yourself, and I like, for me, I've had to just change my whole plan and like just, I guess, take a breather from what I expected things to look like.
Okay.
I definitely was hard on myself, but also I started kind of like giving myself a lot of grace once I figured out forcing a lot of things was not working in my favor. So then I started relaxing, but then my family, who is very supportive and very like wants the best, kind of just put a lot of stuff on me, and therefore I started kind of pivoting it towards myself. When people are asking, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? What's your plan? You know, things like that. When I'm like, can I get my degree first? Like, I am still literally actively taking classes. I am, you know, trying to do all these extracurricular activities. I'm trying to figure out my relationship post-college. I'm trying to figure out who I'm going to be post-college. And having all that in your ear is not good, because then you pivot on yourself like, damn, you're not even doing good enough. You're not, you know, this is not what everyone expected you to be. So therefore you're pressuring yourself internally to kind of appease everyone else. So I had to just give myself grace and be like, look, they just gonna have to be upset. They are. I don't live to kind of appease everyone else. I'm starting to live for me, and I was really happy about that. And I literally took that step just a couple months ago. With grad school. Like, it's so new. Like, I'm gonna be honest, it is so new.
Sometimes your internal pressures are so intertwined with the external pressures that you forget that they are external pressures.
Absolutely.
I think something that really was motivating me trying to get my job was because, you know, you get on like Instagram, you like black girl luxury and like black girls in tech, and like they like, you see them like living their best life. I was like, I want to stun on bitches too. Like, I'm trying to be out here, you know, living my fucking 22, my 6-figure lifestyle, you know, what the fuck? Like, I don't want to be making this bare minimum ass money at the house. But I think that everything happens. I really realized that, like, with me trying to do something, not because it was the right fit, but because I was just trying to stun on the gram, was really like making me feel like this is kind of stupid. Like, you know, after a while you be like, okay, bitch, are you trying to get a job because you really is passionate about what you're gonna be doing? You know, like, you interview for these companies and it's just like, this is not even what I want to do, or like where I see my career going.
So your external pressures of social media were your motivating factor for a little while.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
It honestly, that really, not even trying to be funny, y'all, like literally like last month that stopped being my motivation.
But honestly, like the Black Girl Luxury, like TikTok, you know, all like the hashtags and stuff like that, it has created this like, what do you do for a living? And then people go, oh, I'm in tech. And then it's like, tech is so easy, it's so glamorous, you can do this and you can do that. And they may be the case for a lot of people.
But you gotta know yourself.
Yeah, but you really gotta know yourself and know that if you could do that, or if you even see yourself doing that. Because it's not glitz and glamour.
Because I'm like, because you know what I think about when I, you know, you do jobs, look to jobs, and I really figure out like, okay, how is this gonna help me, I guess, ultimately like grow within my career? Because, you know, what you want to do now might not be what you want to do 20 years from now. But like, is this position going to help me get to what I want to do? Because like, I feel like my past internships have all been very different, and so when I apply for these different jobs, because my experience is so spread out, it's kind of like, I think she could do this, and I'm like, I think I could do it too.
Also, like, that it kind of sets you up because you just like, I need a job, I need a job, I need a job, you know, and you're just so focused. The applications that you're putting out, I'm doing 20-30 applications a day, and it's like, I don't even like any of these jobs. I didn't even read the qualifications.
You don't.
I'm just putting this out there because I am so desperate for something, you know, for something.
Like something.
And then, and society really sets us up for that because they're like, if you don't have a job by then, you're a failure.
And the thing, Shalae, I'd say society sets you up for it because when you have student loans, you have in 6 months you have to start paying on them.
Right.
So in the 6 months between graduation and when your student loans are due, you got to get a job because they want their money back.
Not now they keep pushing it back. So.
Right. I mean, but luckily,
before. Luckily, I don't know if the kids that will be watching this or whatever. But, you know, hopefully for y'all, they push it back. But if not, you know.
Very true.
It is scholarships for that, though. I found out scholarships to pay off your postgraduate loans.
Really? Yeah, and like when you're looking, you have to look for that kind of stuff because employers pay off your student loans. They have good 401k. You need to look at the benefits because you don't want your benefit check. I mean, you don't want benefits getting taken out of your check and you have horrible insurance. Yeah. Like, you really want to kind of, if you're really serious about getting a job and staying there for a while,
adulting.
Yeah, like you're gonna have to look at what insurance plan do you have. You're taking damn near $100 out of my check, and this is horrible insurance. This vision is bad. I still have to pay $500-$600 for glasses. What is insurance doing?
Yeah, I'm just those are the best because that way it really sucks to start filling out a job application and then they ask one question and you're like, I don't even want to do this no more.
Exactly. A short answer.
No, one thing about me, I done got to a point, I'm like, honestly, if it requires me to refill out my work experience, I'm not finishing that application.
Yeah.
If it requires me to answer like this quick, like, why do you want to work here? I'm not doing that application. If they said, like, you finish it, we need you to take a test. I'm not doing that. I just won't get like, no. This is one girl on TikTok. I love her TikToks, but I think I had to start following her because it was honestly, it's making me feel so bad. Like, she was like, I work at Google. I am a full-time influencer. I also have a podcast. She lives in New York, has a nice apartment, makes good money. And I'm not saying like, she's worked very hard to attain those things and is like very deserving of them, but I'm just like, for me, it makes me feel like I'm not doing enough.
Yeah.
And, you know, I can't even get into that. Like, and I know that she's like probably very stressed out within that because she says it a lot, but it's just like, bitch, I'm trying to be like you. Like, I'm trying to get that job at, you know.
Okay, so as far as internal pressures, there comes a point where you kind of give yourself some grace about how much pressure you put on yourself. But you never really drop your goals. You just restructure how you look at them.
Yeah.
So how have you restructured the, I don't want to say pressures, but the actions that you're putting forth in achieving them? Like do you have a timeline still? Do you have how do you do that? How do you restructure it?
I think I just dropped all like timelines, all like anything that I feel like I was putting on myself, like, okay, because I said I kept having that date, like, okay, you can get a job, like, I graduated in May. I was like, okay, you get a job by June. June didn't happen. Okay, it's fine. You get a job by July. I like stopped now completely because I'm like, eventually, girl, you're gonna land something. I think that I had to start, because I feel like I was just sitting in such a place of like, you get so many no's. You really do be in that space of like, no, that never happened. So I had to just start being in a space of like, okay, it is gonna happen, but when it does happen, are you gonna be ready? I'm gonna get up out of here. Like, when I get the job, I'm gonna get the job, but I just can't keep, because after a while it gets depressing. Like you said, I'm gonna do this, do this, and then you don't do it. You just be like, damn, I'm the same.
Especially when you're very vocal about it. Like when you're like telling your friends, yeah, I mean, like, I'm still putting in applications, still working for the job, and this, that, and third. And then it's like months down the line, and people are like, oh, what are you up to? And it's like, I'm still looking.
And you're like, okay, bitch.
Like, it has elements of embarrassment, but you shouldn't be embarrassed. It's just
that's just life.
Yeah, it's just a part of when you say that you're gonna do something and you haven't been given the opportunity to do it. You feel embarrassed. It's like,
I definitely restructured it in a way where I'm more open to what I could do for work and make a living. I was very closed off, forcefully closed off of what I wanted to do. And then I'm like, oh, this is attainable. But did I even really like what I was doing? Did it just sound good to people? And when I started saying, yeah, it could have been an interest of mine. I did some things in, college that had me interested. But did I really want to do that? But it sounded good to people, and like I said before, Shalae was a people pleaser. So I would say what people would be like, oh, that's interesting. That is so good. A senior degree is not and won't get you far in other positions. So therefore you have to work on other qualities about yourself, because at the end of the day, that bachelor's degree for most people don't mean shit. So if you have to leave school, if this is a transition, if you graduate and it's like, I did that for me because I wanted the degree and it was something that I did at that time, great. But now post-college, this is a whole different ballgame. So now you have to expand your mind, and I'm doing something that is completely different from what I got my degree in. Back to what does Shalae want, because I don't want to get stuck in this because it's what is it, like money, it's okay money, you'll have it, when you'll get this, when you get that. So now I'm like, my risks, my gambles are becoming smaller and smaller, but you have to still do that. You have to still gamble. You have to still kind of put yourself out there. So now I'm in a place where I'm gonna be honest, I've gotten a little bit lazier, but
I wouldn't say lazy. You're
I feel like you've been working so hard like for so long that it's okay to like
you're acknowledging, okay, I worked so hard to get here, like I can breathe, I can relax. I wouldn't say you're lazy, but you're comfortable where you are. But it is easy
to feel that you're lazy. I feel like it is easy to throw, like, especially like when you like you said, like when you have this degree, like I feel like because my degree is very specific. I will say this, that my parents have always been open to me. Like when I was a kid, I was like, I want to be a firefighter, I want to be a picture chef, I want to be a dentist. Like I had always, and they were always like, I want to be a storm chaser at one point. Like my parents always have like fed into that. Like like mom got like a storm chasers book. Like I had a whole birthday party at like a little chef cooking thing. Like my parents always like just fed into
my little. I thought you were gonna say a storm chaser thing.
No, like my parents was always like just like fed into it. So when I figured out what I wanted to do, I was like, this is something I'm very passionate about. And I was like, I was like, I'm gonna go to school for this. Most people be like, bitch, what? No, you need to get that, biology. Because my sister went to school. She went to like a very like a business like degree. That's a very practical thing to get a career in, and then you can like use that to pivot. I was just like, oh hell no, I don't want to do that. I know what I want to do. I know this is what I want. And so my parents were like, I support you. I believe that you can do this. Let's do it. So I was okay, that's fine. And then leaving was gonna be super like, okay, good. Like I got this degree. I did a little internship. I'm gonna get me a job. Like I'm gonna get it like tomorrow. You're gonna be knocking down my door to get to me. And when I graduated and it just wasn't that space, I was just like, oh fuck, what the hell am I gonna do now? And how do I like turn these? Because it wasn't like I was like graduating from college. Some people graduate from college don't have, they have to start working because they don't have that support system. So it wasn't like I was expecting I have to start working. It was like I wanted to so bad. I wanted to. I really just was like, I want to hit the ground. I want to just be out there and like living this life of my dreams. Not really how much work it takes to live the life of your dreams, because it's so much work to like live the life that you imagine. Like I don't, like 16-year-old me did not think that 23-year-old me would be here.
It's like we never account for how many steps are in between.
Oh yeah. Never.
The amount of steps in between, like coming up with the idea of happiness in your brain and then getting there. It's so many years.
It's so many years.
It's so many years in between.
It's always easy to like, somebody's like, it's always just like, you're happy, when you get this, like when you do this, when you achieve this. And I think that's something that is super important when you're really trying to figure out who it is you want to be, or like the person you're trying to become, is to just be happy sometimes, where you are, and like honestly find that internal happiness to be like, okay, I might not be where I want to be, but I am happy of the person that I am becoming, where I'm happy with the person I am, and like really showing that person some genuine like love. Because it's so easy to get down on yourself, and it's so easy to get in like that space like, oh, you loser, like to feel like you're such a loser. It's just
because you're so focused on forward.
And
they tell you don't look back because it don't matter. Like the past is the past. It is what it is. But when you actually look back, you be like, dang, I remember when I thought like that. I remember when I wanted that thing. I remember when I had this vision of my life, and I've grown so much since that point of even having that goal. And it's like, wow, when I look back, it's like I have come a long way, actually. Like I've actually come a really long way. And you don't see that until you look back. So don't get so
caught up. And it's also kind of like, how bad do you really want it? You know what I mean? Because like it's hard work.
It is hard work.
And anything you really want to do, and everything
worth having.
It's worth having. And I know we all say like, of course, be stay positive, and like manifestation is a big thing. It's very important. But even with manifestation, you have to work towards the things you're manifesting, because you can't just be like, I'm gonna be a millionaire, and you can always scratch out that lotto ticket and become a millionaire. But it's also like you have to work and actively work towards like being a millionaire, like in your present life, like okay, making a success, and then like so you can become a millionaire in your future life. Like you can't be a millionaire.
You have to align. You have to align yourself
within your manifestation. Yeah, you do.
And that's kind of hard. It's really hard to do, because a lot of the steps are very unclear. You'll be like, oh, I want this, and you'll be like, okay, the steps are this and this, but there are a lot of sub steps that never they never come to the surface until you're in them.
Like it's like already ingrained in their mind of what someone should be and has to be. That's bad. That's and that is an external pressure that you're gonna have to completely disregard.
Literally.
Still be respectful, but it's like I'm respectfully declined what you're trying to say right now.
It does take a strong kind of. It's like you're protecting yourself. Like you have to create a kind of bubble for yourself to live in, where you're able to acknowledge that people are always going to have input on your life, and depending on the person and depending on what they're saying, you can have some value, but you don't take advice from everybody. And then also going off like the vision that you have for your life, only you and God know it.
True.
And you don't even know it most of the time.
You don't even know all of it.
You don't even know all of it. You'll get pieces of it. But the thing is, it's not for everybody to know. Like, everybody's not supposed to see the vision. Otherwise, it would be on the big screen in, like, Times Square. Like, it's for you to see. And it's for you to figure out how you're going to bring it to life. Because it's going to look different every time you like touch it. Like every time you think of the vision, it's going to change and alter because it's going to get clearer as time goes on.
It's all, you know, it's error. It's trial and error. It's trial and error. It's trial and error. Ain't nobody saying you got to be positive all the time, like, because, you know, sometimes it's okay to have a good cry.
Yeah. Yeah. Crying is a full circle moment.
Literally, like the amount of times that, you know, you cry about something that you think you had, and then like you want it so bad and you don't get it, you just cry. The amount of times you just like crying over, you know, whatever the hell you crying over, whatever it is. I'm like, it's because I personally have just realized I used to hate crying. Like I really did. I was like, I hate it. Like I just don't want to be so emotional. But that was some childish shit. Like who the fuck don't want to be emotional? Like who the fuck don't want to cry? Like
a lot of people don't want to cry.
Are we 12? Who doesn't want to cry?
Don't want to cry.
Because I'm really trying to be more solution oriented. Like I feel like it's so easy to just be like, oh, but it's like I'm really trying to work on finding solutions. I feel like this whole career, like this post grad life, has really showed me like you gotta work hard for things that you want, but you also really have to be. It's easy just to be like, okay, it is what it is. But I feel like sometimes it's harder to just sit down and be like, okay, what's my new plan? Like this didn't work out for me today or yesterday or the month before that, and you know, you keep doing the same thing. It's okay, so what are we gonna do new?
I think that what I'm working on now is what is my priority. Right now, my living situation, I love my parents, they're great, I'm very comfortable, but I feel like I'm stuck. I am not in a space where I feel like I can think, I am motivated. I feel as if it is like, okay, you're high school Shalae again. You kind of have these respectability politics with your parents. You don't feel all the way comfortable. Like it is small things that kind of piss me off. That I'm like, bro, I don't want 2% milk. Why do you think I want 2% milk? So like the best advice you can tell people, save your money, put a little bit each time, but it is so hard, and try to be realistic with y'all stuff. Like honestly, before you graduate and graduating, yes, you do want to save money. That is what I'm going to tell you guys.
You should always be saving money. Because life is never going to slow down.
Get that job out of college, you know, when you got to put down a deposit to your apartment, you got to put down, you know, you got to figure out how you're going to get there. You're going to pay for your plane ticket if it is out the state.
Yeah, moving is a whole
other thing. So the job not going to pay. Well, some jobs negotiate that. Some jobs do pay for relocation.
You get how much you need, because in reality
it's always changing.
Absolutely. And you need, I mean, at minimum you need 5 to 10 grand to be able to move out, because it doesn't make no sense where you only have first month's rent and then you really don't know what you're gonna do.
It also depends on where you're living at, because like if you live in somewhere, you know, like middle America, it might be a little bit cheaper for you.
But you still need your spot.
But I would also assume that the cost of the money that jobs are paying you would definitely be less than if you're moving, like, you know, Layla. So.
But when you live somewhere in like Atlanta, it's weird because cost of living is high, but then
the jobs
you're really not making that much
money.
And for some reason, the taxes out of your check just keep getting more and more. Like you're paying more and more in taxes, just to hope that you get
spread out.
Right, and just to hope that you get a decent tax return the next year. Each year, the math isn't mathing. It doesn't add up. So think about a second job, a side hustle, something. Multiple streams of income now is literally the wave nowadays. So if you don't if you're not having a second stream of income, you are really out here struggling and sacrificing at like a young age. And it's like, damn, you kind of want to be able to live your life. You kind of want to be able to say, fuck society, I'm doing this, you know, don't be so hard on myself and this, that, and the third. But it's like, all right, it really takes a strong person to do that.
Well, and okay, so I would say that's when the external pressures like really start to hit home, and you really have to like create your lane and stay in it. Like if you know you can't be affording like high-rise apartments and the skyboxes in the city, why are you looking at that? Why you doing that?
You put it on your vision board.
You can put it on your vision board, but don't be spending all day every day looking at that, because it's gonna frustrate you. That's not in your lane. So the external pressures of like society and watching your friends thrive and like social media. Like you really have to just buckle down and focus on what you have and what you need to get you to your next step. Because
honestly, it ain't nobody. Because you know what I'm saying? It's like you really only in competition with you. Like you really only person. Because I feel like at one point it was like you see people that you went to school with, that you used to work with, and you see them like, oh, I got this job, or and it is really easy to be like, they are literally in my boat and they're doing better than me. But they're not in your boat. They're not in your situation. They're not even in your lane. They're not even in your same universe. It's really just you, and you really just have to be like, okay, all of they're doing this, that's fine. Congratulations to them. What am I doing? Yeah. How can what I'm doing help me? You know, not even 10 years from now, tomorrow.
But you know what? It's really hard to separate yourself outside of competition with other people, because that's literally what we've been doing our entire education.
That's true.
Like you get ranked by your GPA, you get ranked by like sports, you get ranked by so many things that once you come out of college or just come out into the real world, the idea of having to like break free of being in competition with people is really mentally like confusing.
Wow,
like, it's really work out. Yeah, it is. It's gonna take some time, because you're like, okay, for 18 years we was all in the same path, we was doing the same thing. Now it's like we kind of got to do our own thing, and it's like, okay, he got a job. Okay, maybe I should get a job. Okay, he started a business. Should I start a business? Like, or it's like, oh, you're just like kind of not sure.
Well, like kind of like with the grad school thing. It's like, oh no, he got into grad school. Maybe I should go to grad school. But it's like, no, you shouldn't. Or like, oh, he working somewhere, so maybe I should try to get a job there. No, he was an engineering major. That's why he's working there. That's not your degree. Like, you know, don't be beating yourself up if you 16, 15, 18, 25, 32, and you still haven't figured out how to shake this space. Because I feel like within it's a learning space, and it's you learn and you grow and you decide, you know, how to shake these external pressures. Because you know, my external pressures now are probably going to be completely different when I am 35 or when I'm 40, when I'm 60, when I'm 100. Everything's gonna look so much different. So I feel like, you know, the way you navigate that, it just takes time. It takes time to learn. It takes time to grow.
I think do not avoid those pressures. Don't avoid it. They will come. You cannot outrun it. If you try to outrun it, you are not going to succeed, and that's going to be another thing you're going to have to deal with. So if you have these internal pressures, think about why. Think about what in your daily routine is affecting you, and then those external pressures, think about, maybe I need to log off. Maybe I need to spend more time with myself. Let me go on a walk. I'm going to listen to a podcast and go on a walk. That podcast could be true crime, it could be hilarious, it could be anything, but let me kind of disconnect. And then you will literally feel so much better and like, wow, I was really tripping. So don't try to outrun it. You're gonna have to go through that cycle of, you know, internal, external. Okay, now I done leveled up, but in a world, now I leveled up, but now I put myself in a reality where I'm still at the bottom. And then I leveled up again. Because let's say we get this really great corporate job, $100,000. Oh my God, I got this money. But now you're put into a room where it's still people ahead of you that you might think. There's still people gonna make more than you. You're gonna put yourself in like, I made it. But then your reality might change, your environment might change to where it's gonna be someone else that you feel is still ahead of you. So you need to kind of take it back and be like, I came a long way. Looking back is not a bad thing. Do not be scared of it, because your past is always going to come up in certain ways. You're going to have to be able to deal with it. And so just really be headstrong and know who you are. And that is not easy, because we're all still learning. I mean, you probably, it changes every so often. So yeah.
I was gonna say, when you said don't ignore this societal and internal pressures, like those are actually milestones in your growth, because you will not realize how well you know yourself until you turn something down that you thought you always wanted. And you're like, wow, a year ago I definitely wouldn't have made that effort. I wouldn't have done that. But that vision of success that you were offered and you turn it down because you didn't want it anymore. Like, those pressures that people put on you will help to mold you and shape you into the person that you're supposed to be, or that person that you want to be.
Yeah.
If you take the challenge as an opportunity to decipher the type of person you want to be.
Yeah.
Just because they say like making $100,000 a year is success, you make $100,000 and you're like, no, I don't even want to work corporate America. Like, you fed into that pressure of getting a job in corporate America, and you got that job, and now you're like, okay, I actually don't want to do this. That pressure helped to mold you and shape you into be the person that you are, which is somebody who may not have wanted to be in corporate America. So when she said, like, don't ignore those pressures, you have to take them as they come because they help to free you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Very good.
Okay. Yeah, this is great.
Yeah, this is good. This is episode 10, the final episode, the finale. Oh my god, we made it.
Yes.
Y'all, we literally made it. It's been a long time coming. It's been about 2 months of shooting and editing all of this. And I'm so glad to partake in all of this with my friends, my college grad friends, my college friends. All of this has been great. And now we say goodbye.
For now.
For now. For now. Thank you for watching. I'll make sure I'll link their information down below if you still want to stay up to date and maybe even connect with them.
Yeah.
But until then, stick around, watch more videos, and thanks for watching. Bye. Internal and external pressures. I kind of jumbled that up. Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about societal, oh my god, I only have one lash on, y'all. I'm like, why my eye look like that? Alright, I'm gonna restart it. Oh my god, guys, this is episode 10. Can you believe we made it this far? I can't.
Look at your resume. You could do. I'm like, from my resume? Okay.
And that's a setup.
Yeah, it's a setup.
So, you know, I'm like doing the interviews, and like I'm like, okay, this sounds like some really dope shiggity. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, bitch, if you get this job, you're gonna be in that bitch struggling because they're gonna expect you to like understand how to like do the stuff. Because, you know, I done fucking finessed and lied my way through this interview, like Googling random shit and like that they know about.
Right.
Not even jobs you apply for externally. When that thing said it was like 2,100. I said 2,100 some jobs.
Yeah.
I was like, bitch, you ain't sleeping. I'm not. I'm just, because I be like me at 2 in the morning. Easy apply.
No, literally.
Because, you know, my degree is very specific.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's very specific.
What's your degree?
Oh, girl, I'm not going to say. You know, I already got my school shirt on. It's very specific. It is very specific. And,
but why would you say it?
Because it just don't matter, y'all.
It matters. Y'all else be out there trying to do the same thing, and they may want to connect with you.
Then you can put my socials on.
But they're not going to want to
connect with me
because they don't know what you did.
If you hit me up, I'll tell you.
Yeah. I'll put it on the screen, y'all.
But so it's I feel like my degree. Also, you might meet somebody, you get on the call with somebody, they bless your life up. But you might get a call with somebody who you think is gonna bless your life up, but they ain't help you with shit. They ain't do a damn thing but tell you something that you already knew. You know what I mean? But it's always good to have it after that little 15-20 minute cry. I was just like, okay, what's the plan?
I want this specific meal. I want to be able to cook and not have y'all eat all my shit. I want to be able to buy stuff and it be there the next day. Like that right there pisses me off. I want to be able to have my own bathroom.